And joining us now to discuss this topic of Russia's latest maneuvers in the Caribbean further, we are joined by Mr. Yehor Brailian, analyst from the Detector Media. Good morning and welcome to TVP World.
Yes, good morning.
So now, what do you make of these latest moves by Russia in this region, and what is it trying to achieve?
Russia continues to play its role in the Caribbean and Latin America, and we can say about this post-communist heritage of cooperation between Havana and Moscow, and also there is other ally in this region, it's Venezuela, and Russia is helping Venezuela and Cuba in economic and military terms. And at the same time, Russian propaganda manipulates the topic of anti-Americanism, such anti-American public opinion in Latin America. And that's why it's time to have new strategic narratives for the West in Latin America. However, in the economic terms, China is becoming more important player in the region of Latin America.
So, like you mentioned, we do see that this move is a part of a broader strategy to extend Russian power and influence globally. That has also significant geopolitical implications, which leads me to my next question. So, what strategic objectives, to your mind, might Russia be pursuing with this naval presence in the Western Hemisphere?
First of all, intelligence, and Russia is using any tool to get the information about the location of the US Army, of Western armies, and why Russia will use Cuba for its intelligence purposes. At the same time, we can't forget about the US election, and there is the Russian interference in the US elections, and Russia will continue to do it via Cuban factor as well. And during Obama administration, there was some kind of detente between Washington and Havana, and the US embassy was resumed its work in Cuba. At the same time, during Trump administration, American-Cuban relations worsened, and right now we have this no strategy doctrine of Joe Biden, with by emphasizing the role of alliances, but at the same time, public opinion in the Caribbean and Latin America remains anti-American due to the past trauma.
So now, just to follow up, you mentioned the public opinion in Latin American countries. What role does Russian media play in shaping this public opinion in South America?
It plays a very big role because people in Latin America watch Russia Today or Sputnik more than CNN or other Western media, and it's a big problem. And we in Ukraine also began to work with Latin American countries. A communication strategy with the Caribbean and Latin America was adopted by MFA at the end of May this year. And Russia is using its propagandists who work in Spain. For example, Inna Afinogenova. She is a former deputy head of RT Español, and she fired from RT Español in May 2022, and she said, okay, I'm out of this Russian propaganda. However, she continued to say about Ukrainian Nazi and all these narratives of Russian propaganda for Spanish-speaking world. And such tools of media diplomacy which were using by the US during the Cold War, for example, Radio Marti, which was established, which began its work in 1985 during the Reagan administration. They are underfunded, so the US and the West in general need to find other ways how to engage with the audiences in Latin America.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Yehor Brailian was our guest today. And thank you for bringing this comprehensive understanding of implications of Russian military activities in the Caribbean.
Thank you.
Thank you.